My name is Tiseke Kasambala, and I'm the Chief of Party for the Advancing Rights in Southern Africa program. My journey towards becoming a woman human rights defender began at my birth, to be honest, in 1975, because I was born under the autocratic 30-year rule of Kamuzu Banda in Malawi. He ruled Malawi with an iron fist from 1964 to 1994. He also had a paternalistic approach to his citizens, in particular women, who he called his mbumba. As a young woman growing up in Malawi, I was not allowed to wear trousers. I was not allowed to wear dresses or outfits that showed my arms, or skirts that were above the knees. So you can imagine growing up in a society where, as a woman and as a citizen, you were treated as a child at the whim of this dictator, that you would start to rebel against the system. When I then joined the University of Malawi as a first-year student, I discovered that Dr. Banda had banned all political books, and there was a lot of censorship at the time. As a student, I couldn't study political science because political science was banned as a subject in Malawi. And so even then, you know, under that kind of censorship, we lost a lot of academics who got on the wrong end of Dr. Banda. Culture and art were banned if they, in any ways, critiqued Dr. Banda's system of politics. And so it was a very oppressive environment. And in that oppressive environment, I learned that, you know, you have to fight back. And as students, we did fight back and were at the forefront of removing Dr. Banda and the Malawi Congress Party from rule in 1994, when Malawi first held a referendum pushing for multi-party democracy. And then at the age of 18, we voted in that referendum, and we voted for multi-party democracy. And then the following year, when the Malawi Congress Party ran against the opposition, we voted against the Malawi Congress Party and removed Dr. Banda from his rule. And I think that was the genesis of my activism. By the time I did my master's in the Netherlands and then joined Amnesty International, which was a leading human rights organization at the time, I was a full-blown activist. But then at Amnesty International, I started to really hone my experience beyond Southern Africa, working in East Africa, working beyond the region globally, looking at what was happening to citizens across the globe. My journey then took me to Human Rights Watch. I started becoming quite interested in international justice and accountability, because what I've seen is the work that human rights defenders do often is to push against impunity for rights violations. You know, we have to seek accountability, and that puts human rights defenders at the forefront of concerted attacks by the government, because they are monitoring, they're documenting, and they're reporting on human rights violations and holding governments accountable, and that puts them at the forefront of government attacks. So in a nutshell, that's my journey. What I would say to other women human rights defenders is that we are working in a field that requires greater courage from women, especially when you're working in conflict situations as women human rights defenders. We face particular forms of attack. The solidarity that Southern defenders, in terms of support for women human rights defenders, that it brings really kind of encourages women human rights defenders to do the work. So we need to work together, we need to sit in solidarity with each other, we need to support each other as women, because this work can be quite isolating and quite scary in many ways. But as I said, I think if I can do it as a young girl growing up in a conservative society like Malawi under a dictatorship like Malawi's, any other young woman can do it as well. The more of us are in the trenches, the better, because the more of us that are working together to end rights violations and to hold governments to account, the better protected that we are. Thank you.